Hey everyone. So I am on a mission. I Some of you may be aware of some of my YouTube videos that I've done in the past, as far as like record collecting, album reviews. I'm the big record collector, but some of you may or may not be aware that I am a huge MASH fan. I have been a fan of the show since I was a kid. What got me into it was my father, who was probably the biggest MASH fan that I have ever met, and he and I didn't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but there was a time years ago where pre cable, that the show MASH was on. It was literally on three times a day. I think it was like, I don't think it was the weekends, but I remember specifically it was on like three times a day. And him and I used to sit there and watch the show. And I don't know what drew me to it. I really don't. Maybe I looked up to my father. Maybe it was just the content of the show. It was a serious thing, but it was fucking hilarious. To this day, I watch it when I can. It's easily accessible now because of YouTube and because of the internet now. But I try and watch it whenever I have a chance, and it literally never gets old. I mean, there are a few shows out there that I can say that about. Not too many, but a few. But for all intents and purposes, we're talking about MASH. So as I said, I've been a big fan. I've always wanted to collect memorabilia. I've always wanted to visit. Wanted to go to California and visit the set because, from what I understand, the set is still there for the most part. And I guess every few years, the remaining cast get together and have a reunion. And they did a TV special years ago, and it was a really nice special. And they all met on the set. But anyway, I've always wanted to collect memorabilia. I've always wanted to sort of get deeper into it, and for whatever reason, it hasn't happened. It's hard to collect. I mean, you collect one thing, and you go into a rabbit hole. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a record collector, and I'm trying to slow down because I want to kind of get my focus on other things. Not that I don't like music or I'm not into music. I love music and I love record collecting, but I've always wanted to collect MASH memorabilia. I've always wanted to meet whatever cast I could. I know a few have since passed. I know Alan Alda is still alive. I had a chance. Was it last year? He's an author. Some of you may be aware. He's an author, and he's written a few books. And I'm not into reading the books. I'm not that kind of a fan. I'm not like a freak. I don't everything into each actor, but he was doing a book signing at a library in Connecticut. And this part of Connecticut was probably just over 3 or 4 hours away from me in Rhode Island, and I just couldn't do it. Just to shake his hand and just tell him what the show meant to me. And he probably hears that all the time. But anyway, so I've always wanted to kind of collect stuff, but it's hard to have things that are authenticated or that are authentic. So I am on a mission that I want to start making a MASH sign. There's a few of them. There's like the swamp, like Hawkeye Pierce, his tent, and above the door there was a sign. The sign, not a sign, but the lettering, it said swamp, and the fucking place, with reason, it was a swamp. And so I wanted to kind of make something along those lines and put it above my shed, pretty much to scale. Something that looks not just thrown together, just right swamp. So I went out and it's hard to it's hard to get something that, you know, tells you exactly how big something is. So what I've been doing is I looked at a few photographs. I kind of generalized how big it should be, what color the paint should be. So I went out and I picked up some supplies. The wood I had on hand. The paint, some of the paint I have, but I had to go out and actually get the right color red. So I am doing this video pre that sign getting done. In the future I'm going to be doing other signs. There's a sign where it has, like, it says Tokyo, Honolulu, Boston. Is, I don't know, maybe 10 or 15 like little, they're like this, I don't know, maybe 4 inches in diameter, or maybe, you know, 2 or 3 feet long, and they go on like a pole, and, you know, each destination says mileage, and it has an arrow of where to go. And I always found Boston being on top was the top. It was always it was the top one. No matter, and depending on what you see, it varies. There's like different, you know, because people just kind of take things, you know, make things their own. But every all the pictures I've seen, everything, you know, Boston is pretty much like on top. So my first attempt at this is going to be making a swamp sign. And some of you that are not aware of the show could care less, and some of you that are a fan may find this interesting. So I may kind of show the process. I don't know where this video is going to go, but I'm gonna, you know, like I said, I went out and got some. The only thing I really had to buy was the red paint. It's a sign that's supposed to be painted on a door. It's not supposed to be really neat. And it's supposed to be in red, and it's white outline. So the white paint I've got plenty of. The red paint, I had to guesstimate what color exactly to get. I got something that wasn't too bright, but that wasn't too dull, and I got something that should weather pretty good outside, because, like I said, I'm going to hang it outside of my shed here. So we'll see where this video goes, and when I'm done with it, maybe I'll show what it looks like and see what you MASH fans out there think of it. And maybe this is going to be a new venture for making further signs. Like I said, I did want to make another one, but you know, we'll see where it goes, folks. So that's it. I don't know how to close this video. You know, try and think of a MASH theme something, but I don't know. Anyway, you know, to all you MASH fans out there, wish me luck, and I hope to hear from some of you soon. Take care.